Voices Radio.
Yes, people, D-Kel, the Club of Vibes, Voices Radio, the Club of Vibes even. Need to work on my diction. But yes, we're here, Wednesday. It's been a long day, but it's going to get better. I'm here with my special guest, Cariana. How we doing?
I'm good. How are you doing today,
I'm good.
D-Kel? What are you telling me?
I'm good. I was going to open up the show by saying, it's the first time I've not had a musician on the show, but then I realised you make music as well, so that kind of killed that line, innit?
It was like, that doesn't work.
I literally
then.
just played your song, so that was Da Vinci and my special guest who's with me right now with Bonita y Solita. Shout out to Da Vinci, man. I like what he's doing.
Big shout out to Da Vinci. He's wavy artist. He's really good.
So yeah, man, you've been busy, so I don't really know where to start, but I guess like I start with all my guests because like you're actually someone I've only met a handful of times, so I don't actually know you that well. So where did you grow up? How did it all start?
Okay, I like this. So I was actually born in Paris. So my mom is Portuguese and my dad is Colombian. We came here really, really young. I was probably like, 1, 2, 3, I don't know. Una niña todavía. We literally landed in West London, Fulham sides, and I've been there ever since. Okay. So I've basically grown up here. And yeah, that's how I started.
Yeah, nice. I could turn this like whole show into a whole different direction, but I'll touch on this briefly. As someone who's mixed race and you're born in Paris, how did you like manage that kind of mix and blend of cultures? I mean, like they have similarities, obviously, but like, yeah. And also, how did your parents meet?
Yeah, everyone always asks like, how did they meet in Paris? Why Paris? Like any immigrant parent, they went to work. That's what they were both doing there. My mom was there working, my dad was there working. They met. I generally believe que fue como bailan salsa, se enamoraron así porque bailan super bien, to be completely honest. Well, when they were together. But yeah, so I think I had an auntie here.
Okay.
She convinced my dad, like, yo, come to London. You guys will make more money. You got your family here. Just come out. So that's how they came to London. In terms of, like, do you mean, like, dealing with being, like, half Portuguese, half Colombian, or growing up in London, or, like,
yeah,
all
in
of
terms
it?
of, like, kind of all of it, but more so, like, in your household and just growing up kind of balancing, because I'm half Irish, half Colombian. And, like, even though, like, they actually are very similar cultures in terms of like a lot of things like drinking, partying, like basic kind of stuff, but and then there's obviously deeper, it's more layered than that obviously, but for me it was pretty easy because Colombian culture has been very dominant in my household. But shout out my dad though, he's a legend, but like the Irish didn't really cut through like that, like the balance was a bit off. But I just like asking that question because some people will say, oh no, it was like 50-50, like because you might say to me I only speak Spanish or I speak both, and because I've met people that are like for whatever reason or they might do trilingual, do you know what I mean, whatever the case is. So growing up in London and being half Portuguese, half Colombian, so even like from early childhood, was there any sort of interests in music or presenting? Because your journey's a little bit different from what I can see. Like usually I kind of know when I got a musician, they're going to tell me they were singing like when they were a kid and stuff like that, but
no,
like how was your journey?
I think when I was younger, I was much more like, I danced a lot more. That was my thing. I was a dancer. My mom put me in like ballet, street, hip, flamenco. Like I was more of a performer than anything. Like to be like a presenter or an artist, to say like that's something that I wanted to do, no. If I'm honest, that's never been something that was at the back of my mind. But I feel like when you perform, like you're very used to being in front of when you're on a stage in front of a crowd from a young age, I think like, I don't know, it's character building. Yeah, because you can be really shook. You're like, oh my God, no, I don't want to do this. Yeah. But yes, I would say growing up, what I wanted to do was dance. I always wanted my own dance school. Eso era lo mío, dancing. Okay. So yeah, that was interesting. In terms of growing up in like a household where it was like both, I would say growing up, I felt very much more connected with my Portuguese side. Okay. We would go every summer just because like it's cheaper. Yeah. Like you yourself know, getting a family ticket, like four people to go to Colombia. Yeah. That's a mad dent in your pocket. So we would go Portugal a lot. I would say like growing up it was a bit maybe 60-40, I would say. More on the Portuguese side.
Came with the mathematics.
I would say, like, because you said 50-50 earlier, and I was like, no, in my household, it was not 50-50.
Yeah,
so I was like, maybe 60-40, because, you know, in the mum of the house, I don't know.
It's a lot, yeah.
So we would speak a lot more Portuguese. But then as I grew up, I got more in touch with my Colombian side. And I would say, like, as I've grown, I guess I take it on differently. When I was younger, I was definitely much more on my Portuguese side. And now I'd say I'm more in tune with my Colombian.
Okay.
But I don't like, no niego ni uno ni el otro. Like, I can't be one without the other.
Of course.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be you. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, word. Yeah. So I came across you as like a presenter. Like, so I saw you like hosting the parties, doing interviews with people. And it's interesting for me because, like, obviously I do the show of voices, but this is kind of new for me. I've always done music. So I've done voices for about a year now. And now people say, oh, like, do you want to get involved in this, involved in that? And it's just like, oh, okay, that's cool. So I'm still learning as I go about all this kind of business and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you're active. Like, you're very busy. You're a busy person. And you know what it is? Yeah, like, I don't know, like, I always respect that hustle, like, when I see it. Because there's been a lot of talented people I've come across that will do great music or great work and then disappear. Because I get it, life and whatnot. But it's about finding that balance, isn't it? Like, whatever's going on in life, if you have that creative instinct into you and want to create, you should find that balance, hopefully. At the end of the day, it's how much you want it. That's the way I see it. But I'm seeing you, like, it's interesting because you're doing, like, grassroots events, but then you're doing an interview with Ryan Castro. Do you know what I mean? So it's a lot to ask. But how did you get those opportunities, like, you know, with a big artist, but also
doing the homegrown stuff?
Yeah, and you're across the board with it, because sometimes you'll find one promotion company, like a club, that will work with certain people, but you're working with all of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're doing, you built relationships and rapport with all these people. So, and I think that's very important, because like this industry it's very hard to find genuine people. Like, everyone wants to promise the world, and everyone's your friend when things are going good, but when things go a bit left, then it's a bit, or something goes wrong. So how have you kind of maintained, how did you get your foot in the door and sort of start building those relationships?
Ironically, I would say, like, I was on radio first. I was on Tribe Urban Radio with 3 other girls. We were called the G-Slot.
Yeah.
There was like 4 of us in total, 5. Well, not, my maths is off. And that was because I met them through a friend, Luch, Latino Shade Room.
Yeah.
So he had introduced me to them, and then from there we did our own show. And then from there, I would say that's where I really got, like, the roots of, like, presenting and doing interviews, because obviously exactly what you're doing now. You invite people down and stuff like that. So I think that's where I first got my foot in the door of, like, interviewing people. And then I would say that's given me the opportunities to host the way I have. When I first started, it was COVID. LD&RBS, shout them out, London Rebels. They were doing lives, talent show lives online.
They got on tonight?
They do have one tonight.
Right, big up them, man.
They do. It's the Latino Shade Room and the LD&RBS. They're collabing today, so it's going to be a lit night for sure. They got me basically doing interviews and hosting talent competitions and stuff like that, and that was, like, so cool. Like, that was outside my comfort zone. It was COVID, you know, there wasn't much to do, and I was just like, not in a position to be like, no, I'm busy, I'm bored. Are you really? No, there was nothing to do at the time. So it was like, yeah, why not? So yeah, that started. And then I would say Latino Live have definitely, like, helped in terms of the opportunities of hosting at big festivals and interviewing big artists like Ryan Castro, El Gante. There's been quite a few. I did Jay Wheeler the other month. And definitely. And the way I came about with them is that I saw they had an article in The Guardian.
Okay.
And it had, like, Guala on there, Balencis was on there.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember it.
So there was quite a few artists. Lester French was on there. So they did, like, a cover. And I thought, wow, this is so cool. And, like, completely tangent, off track. At the time, I had, like, my own jewellery brand, which was, like, handmade and indigenous.
I checked it out.
Yeah. And I had basically did a photo shoot where I really wanted to drive the question of what does it mean to be Latino. Like, you know, people are like, oh, but you don't look Latino. And it's like, bro, what should I be walking around with? Un taco, un sombrero, una arepa? Like, what do I need for you to be like, yeah, you're Latin? So I really wanted to dive into that. And I think this was at the peak of the time when there was, like, mad protests going on in Colombia about the rights.
Oh, yeah, I remember,
and
actually.
Stuff like that.
I think Balvin's documentary is kind of based around that in your image.
Exactly. So then I did a photo shoot, and it was like 7 or 8 women, and they were all from different countries. So I had like someone from Cuba, Honduras, Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador. What was the other one? I can't remember what the other one was now. Brazil. Was it Brazil? Yeah. So it was like, I wanted to show how different we all look.
I think it's sick as well, because like in London, well, I don't know statistics, so don't come for me if whoever watches this year. But like, it seems like the Latin community is like majority population are Colombian.
Yeah.
And then probably Ecuador, I'd say second.
The number one I actually know is Brazilian.
Oh, that would make a lot of sense, because
yeah,
it's a huge
the
country.
first is Brazilian, then it's Colombian.
There you go. I'm learning.
Yeah,
I'm learning.
Yeah.
But the point I was going to make is that there's a few countries in the mix that don't get that representation. Like I had Anna Bolines that done shout out to Chapters. They done their first Latin chapters a few months ago, and she's from Honduras.
Yeah.
I never met anyone from that part of the world, and even though she's Latino and feels the unity, you can tell that there's still like I just saw like, you know what I mean, like there's no one that you can say do you know what I mean, like 'cause she's representing on her own. So I think it's quite cool that you represented all the countries.
Yeah, I wanted to show, like, you know, we're such a big spectrum. It's hard. You can't say to someone that they don't look Latino.
Yeah.
Like. So I had written an article about that, and I had approached them, Latino Life, and I was like, look, I've seen that you guys got this article in The Guardian. I would love to do something like that. And they were like, just forward it to our journalist. She proofread, and we'll get back to our publisher. That was it. And then she got back to me, and they loved the idea. They have their own magazine, and they gave me like a 10-page spread. And then they just basically printed my pictures and the article. And what I really liked what they did is that they sent like questions to each of the girls, and it was like to get to know more about them and their upbringing and their background.
Crazy. Yeah.
So that's how I got into ropes with Latino Life, to be honest. So
I think like Latino Life obviously very popular now. I think it's this Saturday they got the
Yes, this Saturday I'll be hosting it as well. That's gonna be amazing. It's in West London.
Yeah,
I don't
come on,
think
home
there's been
territory.
anything like that in West London.
What's it called? Latino Life in the Park.
Yep, Latino Life in the Park.
I think now it must be the biggest outside event for Latinos.
Yeah, it actually is the number one biggest UK Latin festival.
Yeah, and it's a proper festival, so head down if you get the chance, guys. I was there last year, the year before. But yeah, and I think people need to, because I know Jose Luis for like since I was 15. I'm not going to say my age now because it's mad. But he, like, that Latino Life was always a magazine. That magazine's been going for ages, and I think now they're getting their flowers, which is very nice to see. But I think people really need to realise like, how much work, how much doors they knocked on and kicked down. So yeah, big up them. Lovely 100%. To see them doing a thing. I think they had a stage at the Lambeth. Is it county or country show?
It was country show, yeah.
Because I was saying county, and no one looked at me like I was talking gang or something. But yeah, Lambeth country show, and that looks amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like big stage, big tent, had loads of incredible acts. You was there.
Yeah, it was a mad vibe. I think to have a stage in a festival that ain't even Latin is a statement.
Yeah,
it's like they obviously like what we're doing, and they're like, let's have a taster. So we're going in the right direction. I think things are bubbling, you know.
And with that said, talking about good music, I want to play a friend of yours. I believe this is Ocho Garcia with Motores.
Let go.
Ahora todo cambió, la noche se activó. Con mis bandidos en carros y las motos, ahora todo cambió. La noche se activó. Con mis bandidos en carros y las motos, ahora todo cambió. La noche se activó. Con cámara lenta, nos tomaron fotos pero no se dieron cuenta. La placa se renta, aquí no se inventa. Mami no come porque está a dieta, yeah.
That was Ocho Garcia with Motores. Then I had Niño Divino, Te Vi Pasar. First time playing Niño Divino. I had D-Kel on my show a few months ago, and he was speaking very well of him. And I also had Mike Kadja talking about him, so I had to check him out. Well, yeah, big track. So I was kind of getting to now. We know where you're from. Sick. Portuguese, Colombian, into dancing. Do it all. Sick. But my question is that how do you, like, what came first? I guess to answer my own question. So you started writing pieces for Latino Life, getting into the presenting stuff. So you do the grassroots stuff, which I touched on, and you've done some bigger artist stuff. What do you notice is the difference in preparation for an interview either side? So when you're interviewing, that's what you interviewed Bryden.
Yeah.
Big up Bryden. And then you've interviewed, like, you know, artists that are more established, like Ryan Castro, Jay Wheeler. In terms of preparation, what are the differences? Because obviously when you're interviewing an artist like Ryan Castro, where he's done so many press runs, so many interviews, you ain't really trying to like do the same stuff. And But then with Brian, it can be a bit more interesting because you're really trying to find out that person. So
Exactly.
what's your process in approaching those both kind of styles?
I would say, like, with artists like Jay Wheeler, Ryan Castro, El Gante, like, one thing that I've learned, and I'm going to give big props to Amranta because she's really helped me in terms of, like, writing and the questions that I ask. The key is you want to ask the person, and this can go for either or, to be completely honest, but you want to ask the person you're interviewing a question they ain't answered before. You want to learn something that they ain't touched on before. You want to ask them something that the public don't know about them. Like, you don't want them to be repeating the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think as well, you got to keep it like conversational, like light. You got to make it fun as well. I think maybe throwing like a cheeky little game of like firing
like
some. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
With either or, I feel like there's a game that I like to play, like, ¿Qué prefieres? What do you prefer? And like, I've done it with like the homegrown artists, and it's fun. And I thought, let me try it with like, and I did it with Ryan Castro, I did it with Jay Wheeler, and it was like they even started laughing, and it's fun. You see them thinking. It's like you almost get them out of that headspace of, I'm here for an interview, let me answer these questions. You let their guard down, and then they're a bit more chilled, a bit more relaxed, and their answers are a bit more fluid, and you can feel like it's coming from like a raw place, I'd say.
Okay, so with that, so explain your approach. You said it's a bit tongue-in-cheek. Let's have fun with it. Would you
Definitely
interview someone, like an artist, let me word this carefully, that had been through like some kind of negative press, and like, so no one's really on interviewing them, but there's an opportunity there for yourself because they're a big artist, but obviously like not too mad, like they've got into a mad fight and someone's caught it on the snap, and that's on every vlog. And obviously they're big artists, so it's looking mad. They're punching people, or they're just smashing up a gaff. Like, do you know what I mean? And so there's no media outlets. They said, like, Cariana, like, come man, like, let's just put the world to right. I need to tell my side of the story. Would you approach it like that? Do you know why I asked that? Yeah, because I see a lot of podcasts that base their careers on, nothing wrong with it, but like, not even like negative or drama, but they like to interview people that
controversial.
Yeah, because the their thing. That's the same. Like your approach is funny. Their thing is like, well, let me just get big off. But like someone like yourself, would you adapt, or would you be like, no, I'm trying to keep it 100 happy vibes?
Like, I would prefer to keep it like nice, calm, happy vibes. Like you were saying earlier, like I work across like abroad with like lots of people. I don't really want to have passion with no one.
I hear that.
Keep it kosher, because it's like, at the end of the day, I don't want to involve myself in the politics. Like, there's no need. Me, I'm not involved. But if it's like a case of like, no one's want to hear your story, depending on the situation, maybe. So I generally believe that there's two sides to a story and the truth. Like, you're never gonna know. So depending on the situation, maybe.
And you kind of touched on it there. Like, we've seen you host a lot of parties, been on different platforms. You're on not my platform, careful what I say, but you're on my show on a platform that's not yours. But do you have plans to create your own platform? Or is it a case where you're using these platforms, not using them in a sense like you're using them just to get big, but are you using them to establish yourself, and then hopefully you can pattern up your kind of vibe? Or is it a thing where, not where the money is, but like where the opportunities are that you feel like you enjoy, because you got to enjoy it, like, you got to enjoy it first and foremost, or is it a thing where, no, actually I do have a plan, I do have a vision, like to...
I mean, essentially I feel like vision is very important. Whatever you do, whatever career path, whatever your passion is, you need to have vision. So I mean, I feel like at this moment in time in my life is for me to gain my experiences and to learn. So I feel like saying yes to so many opportunities, I've adapted and I've learned so many different things from so many different people, and it's like essentially in the long run, yes, I would love to have like my own show, my own talk show where, you know, you come down, I interview you, yo, D-Kel, tell me about voices, how's it going? We play a little cheeky game as we're going through it. Like, essentially that's what I would like, a talk show where we play games and we have fun, we get to know the person. So I think like, regardless what you do in life, people forget that there's a whole human being behind it. Like, whether you're an artist or a footballer, or if you're in the public eye or whatever it is, people forget.
They're human.
Even producers, videographers, photographers, you might pay them for a service and understand business. You might forget they also have their own life.
Of course.
So it's good to know the person behind the craft.
Yeah, no, definitely. So would you say people that are trying to get into this, because there's a lot of people I meet that are very knowledgeable about the music industry or have great ideas, but they're not necessarily like musicians or want to be musicians, but they want to be involved in the mix. They want to, they aspire to be somehow involved at the festivals or the club nights or just somehow involved. What would your advice be that actually, try and build those relationships and try and get on these platforms, try and work with people? Alternatively, knowing what you know now, would you say actually, well, you probably wouldn't say this, but would you say actually, now do your own thing, like just create your own content and then let that grow?
I
guess they're two different journeys. So
they are two different journeys. Essentially, I would always say doing your own thing is better. It's just, it can be really hard. I understand finances is tough times. Say like content, okay, cool. Camera, need to edit, right? Program, need to edit that. I need to invest my time in editing it. Like, it's a lot that goes into it to creating even like a 15-second video.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a lot. So I would just say, like, have what you want to do for yourself in mind, that you can't lose sight of that. And I'm not going to lie, I find when you get a good understanding of who you are, it makes life choices easier. Because it's like, when you know who you are, an opportunity may arise and you won't be so confused, because you'll be like, no, this ain't for me. Or like, not right now. Because you have a good understanding of yourself, so you know, this opportunity ain't for me, or Have you had to, it does. Have you felt like what you described there? Have you felt you've had to walk away from situations, even though they might have been proper good, or like you felt actually going into this, you thought it was going to be good, but actually you've had to be like, nah, you know what, I'm not really with this. 100%. Like in this game, like if I told them out of like podcasts that I've tried to do and like working with people, like that's one thing. Working with people is great because you help each other out. The only thing is everyone has to be on the same wavelength. Otherwise, if someone feels like they're doing more than the other person,
the dynamics is lost.
Do you get what I mean? Or if you feel like, no, I want to do this, but the other person wants to do that, and you can't see eye to eye, imbalance. It's like your projects won't flow as much. So sometimes it is better to. It's a lonely road, but sometimes alone is better. You just gotta find, I think, your support system. People who are really right for you, they share the same vision. Then you guys can start making something together. If the visions don't align, then don't waste your time. Simple as.
And so in those situations, how do you keep like neutral and like the energy good? Like, because I know like I've not disrupted friendships, but there's a couple men are probably like in a moment of anger, like I've said a thing and I ain't seen them since. Do you know what I mean? No, I'm sure it's cool now, but like, and it's business, because I think they probably think, nice, it was a business thing, he was frustrated. But how do you kind of keep all these relationships calm? Obviously, there'll probably be difficulties, but from what I see is that like you're everyone's favourite person. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, and it's hard to be that guy, because I know like there's a couple people that see the voice.
Trust me, there's definitely people who don't like me. I'm 100% sure of it. I'm sure of it. Do you know what I think is? I think it's just, as cliche as it sounds, honesty really is the best policy. I like to think that I'm the type of person, if I feel some type of way or if I'm thinking something, I will express it to whoever. Say if something bothered me that someone's done, I'll express it to that person. I'm very much that person, because I'm very much peace of mind. If something is bothering me, I need to get it off my chest.
You can't function.
Until then, I'm going to be there like, I'm okay, I go, and it's like, that is too much energy to be investing worrying. I would rather go up to you, we talk it out, I say my piece, and then I'm at peace, if that makes sense. Obviously, it depends on the other person. They might not be in a place to hear it, they might not want to hear it, which is absolutely fine. I feel like in situations, everyone's feelings are valid. It's all perception at the end of the day, but I like to think, if you'll know if something's bothering me, I'm going to say it to you. So maybe that's why I get along with people, because they know like,
genuine. So genuine. You see what you get, kind of thing. Well, you said a key word there, energy, and that leads me to the next track I'm playing, Valenci's Julie, Energy.
Oh, what a vibe.
Time is money.
I want all that energy. Let me feel that energy. Quiero probar, no te voy a negar que me pone bien mal, que me pone bien mal.
Well, that was Valenci's Julie Energy. Here on my special guest, Cariana, who's running in. She's back in the mix.
Hey.
So we touched on the presenting. I feel like this is one of those episodes where, and I want to announce it soon, but we'll do a longer sit-down chat to really get into the mix. But yeah, so we spoke about a bit about the music and your presenting and how you approach your work. Or should I say, we haven't spoken about the music, we spoke more about the presenting and your approach to interviews and working with bigger artists and more grassroots events. In terms of the music, how did that come about? Because they're very, like, you're around music when you're doing that stuff, but what made you think, actually, nah, like, I can do this?
Do you know what, yeah? First, a big disclaimer, I do not consider myself like an artist or like a musician or anything like that. Like, I respect there are people that like live and breathe this music artistry. Like, that is their life, it's their every breath, their every minute of their day. For me, it was like, obviously, Da Vinci, who I did the song with that you played, who is also like a great artist. Like, he's so sick. Like, he's got flow, he's got lyrics, and he's a great performer, I think, as well. That's another thing. In this game, you really distinguish like the studio artists and the ones who who are actually performers. You can really distinguish them, and he's just an all-rounder. And just being around him, like, I don't know, they're writing bars, and then you're chilling with the people there, and you're just like, I'm sure I can
to be fair, I think that's like, I think that's a lot how a lot of rappers started.
Yeah, so he was always like, "Come on, Karina, when you come into the studio, and I was like, "Nah, man, eso no es lo mío, eso es lo suyo." And he'd be like, "No, just try."
Yeah.
And I was like, "No sé." Hágale. And then one day in the studio, I was just like, "Okay, let's give it a try." And it was just so much fun. I was like, "Oh, okay, this is
light
fun."
work.
No,
that's what I'm hearing. It was light work.
No, I'm joking. It was fun. I like to see it as like as a project that I dabbled in, and it went quite well. Like, I like to think like, we released that song like a year, 2 years ago, maybe even. We released that song. I think
what's interesting is you say you kind of done it just, to experiment, to give it a go, but like, you guys took it seriously, like the production of video, production of song. Because like, do you know what I mean? It's not like you just done a freestyle, like, do you know what I mean, on road. Like, you actually gave a good, a well-versed product. I can see a lot of effort in the video. You had the venue, had people in the video, it's well edited, it's color graded. Do you know what I mean? You took it seriously, so maybe that's something you should tap into, like, later down the line.
Like, one thing my dad had like embedded in my brain and I live by now is like, si vas a hacer algo, hágalo bien o no lo hagas.
This is true.
Which is like, if you're gonna do something, do it well or don't do it.
Yeah.
And that's literally, lo hagas bien o no lo hagas. Like, así de sencillo. So like, I live by that. So when I'm doing something, I'm like, okay, no, I need to do the best that I can give at this present moment. Otherwise, there's no point of me even indulging in this.
I hear that.
Yeah.
So, future plans. I mean, this Saturday, we're talking very, very near future plans. This Saturday, you obviously like Latino Live in the park. I'm assuming you're hosting.
Yes.
You're hosting, nice. But what's next on the cards? What can you tell us?
Ooh, what is next? Well, hopefully, I want to start doing like maybe my own platform or my own channel or something where I am going to be interviewing people, like doing more my own thing.
Yeah, and you have your full control, so you can include the games and stuff like that.
Do you get what I mean? And I can interview who I want.
A board games company to sponsor it, or do it in a board cafe. Have you seen them places where they play games?
That's another thing. Like, I would want it to be recorded maybe somewhere different. Like, I feel like in this game of life, you need to have your uniqueness. Like, se tiene que tener su toque, su sazón, your sauce that no one else has, because you can't be imitating or trying to be like something else, because it ain't gonna flow. Yeah,
no, I hear that. That is very true. So, it's that time again. I feel like every time I've got a guest at the moment, it has to be a 2-hour show, but I don't know. I need to like think about this carefully, but it's been a pleasure. Nice to actually get to know you a little bit more. Any last words? What's your sign off? Please give your socials.
If you want to follow me, nice and simple, ACCL_. Nice.
I had a question, Why is it that? Because it's mad. I don't know what it was. I was trying to find you, and I knew it was. And I was like, it's something like, don't take this person. It was like, it's something weird, fam. It's not normal.
No,
like,
but
it's not
of
just
course.
like her name.
Of
Like, so I was
course
like,
not.
what is it? It's like the alphabet. What is it? So I had to go through like loads of messages. It was a nightmare, but then I found it.
sorry.
I found it. No, do you know what? It was good because you're so active on doing loads of stuff.
Yeah.
I think I just went on like, I don't know, Latino. I went on someone's page. I was like, I should
And
be
there
on
it
there.
is.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? It's my initials. It's literally my full name. My governmental name is Ana Cariana Costa Londoño.
Okay.
Entonces ACCL, and I haven't changed it from when I've made Instagram, so that was quick.
Sounds like a business. Sounds like an establishment.
It was such a long time ago, and it's like, don't get me wrong, everyone has gotten on to me like, when you gonna change it to Cari? When you gonna change it to
No, you should keep
Cariana?
it. You
Like,
should keep it.
and I'm like, I don't know. I have so much like attachment issues to it, which is so to even say, but
No, you should definitely
that's
keep
what
it.
it is. It's just my initials.
Nice.
Actually.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Hopefully have you soon. I'm sure I'll run into you.
Yeah, I'll see you
soon
around.
enough.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
No, it's been a pleasure.
I love what you're doing. You know, having a radio platform that's playing, you know, our UK Latin artists. Like,
Indeed.
that's a big thing. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, it's growing. Like the
for
whole.
representing, bringing us on, talking to us. People can hear us, get to know us. So thank you for doing that.
It's my
for us.
pleasure. It's my pleasure. Yeah, well done to the UK Latin music movement. Because now my whole playlist is full of Latin artists. There was a couple
We
tunes I
love
didn't
it.
get to play today. This one I'm gonna play is my final song. Well, it might be my final song. Big up Darker. He's not here yet, but final song is a new artist I just discovered. I think he's based in Surrey, but he's Brazilian or Portuguese. I'm not sure. But 5 Filo, she drops it.
Shorty is a cutie and she knows she be on my mind and I don't wanna let her go. Got me doing things with her, I just can't tell her no. Plus she likes to dance a lot, she shakes it like a pro. Yellow dance,